Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. No contest. Some Somali children are getting a bang out of a new contest as a local radio station in Somalia is awarding books, bombs, and guns to child winners of a Quran recital contest. Blaze.com says that a radio station run by Al-Shabaab, a militia group linked to al-Qaeda terrorists, is reportedly giving the first and second place winners a cash prize and a rifle, while the young third place winner received 2 bombs. All 3 of the winners also received religious books to support the new use of their weapons. Al-Shabaab is currently battling the country's weak UN-backed government, and its leader threatened late last year to attack the United States. Unethical lockdown. While some Catholic healthcare systems are pushing aside the faith to support abortion, one in Australia is stepping in to become the primary supplier of condoms to prisoners. The Herald Sun reports that St. Vincent's Health System is signing a contract to distribute condoms and dental dams to prisoners in 3 prisons after prison personnel refused because of occupational and health concerns. Neither St. Vincent's Health nor the Archdiocese of Melbourne would comment much further than calling the program, quote, a justice health initiative designed to reduce transmission of disease, end quote. This move is representative of an all-too-common trend among Catholic healthcare providers to ignore the Church's teaching on life issues. Promoting false teaching. Recent focus here at RealCatholicTV.com has been centered around the homosexual agenda being promoted in the Catholic Church, leading to phone calls yesterday from our viewers in Florida. It may come as no surprise that there was a recent article praising homosexual adoption in the Tampa Bay Online, written by a mother who married a man that turned out to be homosexual. However, Candy Olson's article represents more than that. Her article directly criticizes the gay adoption ban in Florida, quoting one of her children who says, quote, if gay people could marry each other and have families, they wouldn't feel pressured into a conventional marriage because they want children, end quote. While Olson promotes anti-Catholic teaching in the public forum, she is a Eucharistic minister at the Catholic Church she attends and has been on the Hillsborough County School Board in the Tampa area for 17 years, twice as chair, influencing the content that children hear in classrooms. California is currently forcing homosexual history in schools. New Jersey only just pulled pornographic literature from the classroom after parents complained, and today is the 1-year anniversary since Florida's ban on same-sex adoption was struck down. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Discriminating UK Courts. The United Kingdom's Archbishop of Southwark says that when it comes to protecting the rights of Christians to practice freedom of religion, the British courts are guilty of, quote, woolly thinking. Archbishop Peter Smith is referring to the comparison being made by the Equality and Human Rights Commission between 2 cases of Christian women demoted and fired for refusing to take off crosses they were wearing, and 2 marriage professionals fired for refusing to involve themselves with homosexual couples. The commission argues that the women wearing the crosses had their human rights violated, but that the marriage professionals were rightly fired for their so-called discrimination. Smith says in conflicts of rights between homosexuals and Christians, the courts were unfairly, quote, coming down heavily on one side and totally ignoring the other, end quote. The Archbishop also points out that Sikhs and Muslims are able to win rights for their attire, but Christians are not. Calvary Crackdown. As a 25-foot cross in an elderly woman's yard in California has her neighbors in a tizzy, and they have called the Department of Building and Safety on her. The neighbors are calling the cross an eyesore, claiming it gives newcomers the impression that there is a church in their neighborhood and that it is too graphic because on it hangs a crown of thorns and splatters of red paint where Jesus was nailed to the cross. Blaze.com reports inspectors will be coming later this week to determine whether or not she is allowed to keep the cross in her own yard. There may be some precedent for this case if it turns into a lawsuit, as a New Jersey man won a case very similar earlier this year, allowing him to keep the cross in his yard. Meanwhile, California government is spreading the message that crosses are not allowed in public view, with more crosses removed. The town of Julian, California is up in arms, bent out of shape because 3 crosses, part of the local landscape for 100 years, were taken down after complaints to the state that they shouldn't be on public property. Workers from the Department of Transportation took the crosses down at night, afraid of repercussions or public criticism from town residents, and the American Center for Law and Justice has stepped in to evaluate the legal situation. 2 of the crosses stood 10 feet tall, while the third was 25 feet tall. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael talks about allowing evil to flourish. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us, and as always, God bless.